No matter what you do in Photoshop, illustrations, composites, real estate photography, or whatever, mastering the selection tool is the most important foundational skill you need. Today, we're learning selection tools. I recommend watching this entire video first so you don't miss any information, because there are some important parts at the end. Then bookmark or save it so you can go back and reference it when you need it. Selections lets you work on certain areas without affecting others. You're basically telling Photoshop, only make changes within my little fence. It can be used for everything: shading, masking, drawing, everything. Instead of trying to be precise with a brush, you can make a big, fast stroke over the entire image and achieve precise results. The selection tools are just different ways of making that fence. In most softwares, selection tools are represented by dotted symbols. On Photoshop for iPad, it's the third from the top, and that little corner triangle lets you know there are more options if you click twice or press and hold. The symbol will change, displaying the last used tool. The Lasso tool is a basic draw tool. Whatever you draw will be the selection. If you let go halfway through, it will try to close the shape by going straight to the starting point. And if it can't make a shape, it simply won't. Object selection lets you draw a box in your image, then uses Skynet AI skills to find and mark targets, or objects. Quick selection is another AI tool. If you press somewhere, it's going to assume you want to select it, and if you continue to move, it's going to look for more of the same. But if you start to move over other stuff, it will assume you want that too. You can also click on a shape. Unlike many other tools, quick selection will automatically add to your selection, so you can just continue clicking. Rectangle and ellipse are simply two shapes you can use for selection. Magic Wand is another AI tool. It uses magic to select areas similar to whatever you clicked on. It's very similar to quick selection, but it tries to be more precise, where quick selection is a bit more blunt. Select Subject is an action and not really a selection tool. With this one, Skynet analyzes your layer and selects the dominant subject. All the different tools have different options attached to them. Some are the same for all, and some are unique to that tool. Next to the tools, you'll find a little tool options menu. Now that's what I call it. If you know the real name, put it in the comments, because yeah. The symbols do a pretty good job of letting you know what's going on. By clicking different ones, you can create a selection, add to a selection, subtract, or only keep whatever the two selections had in common. Your touch gesture, the little disc in the corner, activates an opposite option. So if you're in regular selection, the disc will activate Add to Selection. And if you're already in Add to Selection, the disc will activate Subtract from Selection. If you click the three dots, you get more options, all tool dependent. I don't want to make this video too long, but if you want us to go through all those options, just let me know in the comments. In short, I'll just say that if your selections are not working well, have a look at those options. When you've made a selection, you get the Selection Options menu at the bottom. Again, that's what I call it. If you know the real name, or if that is the real name, let me know. Most of the options are straightforward, like deselect, erase, and invert. Mask turns your selection into a mask, so it hides everything except your selection on that layer. Now, masks are another foundation skill of Photoshop, so I should probably make a video on that too. Refine Edge opens up a whole other menu, also a video in itself. It may seem daunting, but it just gives you a wider range of control over your selection. Don't be afraid to experiment. If you press more, you get two more options. Transform lets you manipulate the scale, rotation, perspective, etc. This is not something I tend to use for selections, because hopefully I have already selected what I wanted. But it can be used for some cool effects. Select Similar is another AI tool that seems to focus more on selecting objects with similar colors. Always be mindful of what layer you're on. Selection tools only apply for the layer that you have activated. So if your selection tool isn't doing what you want, check your layer. And of course, there are no rules without exceptions. Some tools, like the wand, have the ability to go through all your layers if you have that option checked. So check your tool options. And finally, don't be afraid to try another selection tool you can always undo. Yeah, that's it for selection basics. I hope you liked it, and leave a like if you learned something. Until next time.